Hi guys, welcome to the relationship spread or X spread or on and off relationship spread. So let me explain to you how this works. I have developed this spread and initially I called it Cat Tarot Knows About Relationship Spread, but it got named by you X spread. Basically it is taking me through various categories, and let me explain to you what these categories are and why I'm choosing them. You're going to see in every reading these cards are lying down on the table, and this doesn't mean that the cards are exactly pulled out the same for all of the signs. It simply means that I'm trying to figure out what is in these categories and what is referring to your relationship. And by actually finding all these elements, I will be able to find out the quality of your relationship and project the future trajectory. So the very first card that I have in this spread is the Magician. The Magician, being a number 1, is the number of creation. It is somebody who really want to create something, but it's just like in a phase of thinking. It would be very much like when we show up for work and we are just starting to plan our day, but we are yet not putting our hands on it. It is somebody who really believes that he has all the tools, but he has to figure out how to use those tools. So in this category, I will be trying to figure out what tools your relationship has been given. So it is kind of like a very latent position where maybe you're not using them, maybe you are overusing them, maybe you never got the tools that can make this relationship working. So in this category, in your toolbox, I find out if this relationship basically is ever a starter. The next card I have picked is Temperance reversed. So Temperance is a really great card in the upright position. It talks about things meeting all the needs. So at the right time, in the right place, with the right person, with the right feeling, and it's kind of like that in the zone moment. Now it basically talks about balance. It talks about creation. Look at the fire is creating, like the flowers are growing. But when it's reversed, none of that is happening. So things are not coming together. People are not coming toward us. They are not understanding us. So in this category, I'm trying to figure out what glue your relationship needs. What are the items that you need to work on? Then in my personal readings, I also compare these two categories in the end just to see if you can actually surpass these pluses and minuses or what can be done. Then I'm taking Queen of Wands as a significator for one partner, and please disregard that this is a fire sign generic representation, because in this case I really want people to see themselves as the best possible. Because if, for example, this is an on and off relationship, you do want the person to come back to you and to think about the best you can achieve, and that's basically what happens. People don't come back to you hoping for the worst you are. So this is basically representing one basically partner or female partner. You pretty much know from the storyline which one it is. Then Eight of Wands is basically lots of things happening here. So Eight of Wands is going to come as a communication and energy between you and your partner. This is going to tell me if he or she will call, what kind of issues are happening behind the surface, and what really was the nature of the communication or of silence. Then Nine of Wands is representative of, let's say, for X relationship, because Knight of Wands is almost more important than King, because Knight is the one who is being sent to represent, to show off, and sometimes they're just showing the power when they're being sent to a battle. So in tarot, if this is representing your partner, you want to see your partner galloping toward you and not just sitting and waiting for the partner to be served, which kind of is the case of King of Wands. I will, however, use King of Wands for steady relationships, for some people kind of get in the rut and want to see what is going on, because then King of Wands is more appropriate in that situation. Then I have Judgment card. Well, Judgment card in some decks is being called Karma card. I consider both Judgment and Justice Karma cards. This one actually more so, because this one really talks about bringing the old things to the surface. And so I'm looking that line in time for your relationship and seeing what kind of things are surfacing. And this doesn't have to mean only about your relationship, because we are set of a sum of different life trajectories, and sometimes our buttons are being pushed, so that means something from the past has resurfaced. So two resurfacing things at the same time combined with the outside influence is what is creating a relationship. And I really want to see how is that positioning happening and what can be done with this. And lastly, the last category would be Four of Wands. It is a category of moving to the next level of happiness, of, you know, from liking each other to starting to go on a date, from dating someone to go in a serious relationship, from serious relationship to getting engaged, and so on. This is also going to tell me about the quality of your relationship, and also is going to be able to define if you should continue with that. So guys, now when you know what cards would mean, it's going to be much faster for me and easier for me to actually guide you through the categories. So for detailed explanation, you can also check on my website www.cattarot.ca, and please also via my website as well, you can get your own personal reading, which supersede any of the readings on the site, because it's only your vibration and not the vibration of many. Thanks very much. Love you. Hi Leo, welcome to your relationship and X spread for June 2017. So let's see what is in the store for you. So if you guys skip the intro, I'm not going to go in a great detail about these cards. I just want to tell you, first of all, that this is a general reading, which means that this may not even apply on you, or that just little bits and pieces here and there actually can really resonate with your situation, and the outcome might be different. So it's always the best, if you're concerned, to get your own personal reading, so that way you energize the deck just to your and your partner kind of vibration. So for personal readings, just check www.cattarot.ca, and my all contact information is in the description box. Second, all these cards here are significators, so hence all of them are the same on all the signs, because I just want to check what is in this category. So having said that, let's jump in. So first category is your toolbox. What is about this relationship? Well, Leo's something sometimes is up, sometimes is down, right? This is basically, for me, I cannot describe this card better than saying, well, it is life, right? Life sometimes brings us great things, sometimes it doesn't. It is basically talking about pleasurable work, adaptability, and balance about between the work and play. And this is coming in your toolbox. So with your partner, basically you do have ability, and this is the first week we are looking into to strike a balance, and it's talking about planting roots, and it's just the first sprouts that are coming out. So one way or another, the dreams can be manifested in a material world. So let's see what needs to be glued here. Well, now you have another two, and this two is talking about the soulmate connection. So this can mean a few things. This can either mean that the connection in between the two of you is not exactly the greatest quality, and it maybe has the holes in it, right? You see, maybe somebody is not pushing their arm as they should and kind of like be protective and giving. Definitely this is telling me that you need to work on harmony and something that is loving and lasting, right? It's somebody you need to kind of like have the same vibration with, somebody who can bring out the best in you. And it's sort of like a feeling of a divine love, not just, well, you know, I have to get married kind of a thing. So this needs to be worked on. So like, I mean, this is obviously telling me there is some kind of imbalance happening. So how are you seen? So these two cards will be significators, right? So you have to figure out which one is you. This can be also the third party, so keep that in mind. So how you're seen, well, it looks like that you're seen as being picky. You're seen as, okay, which way do I want it? Like, I mean, that things have been offered to you and you were not accepting them. And that can be kind of, you are basically being blamed for affecting this kind of glue, or seen as a reason for affecting the soulmate glue. Like, it's also, you see in this card, like this person is protecting his or her heart, and even rejecting something really special given. So it's certainly it could be you, Leo, being on your throne, but also this can mean, well, you're really waiting for the right thing, and maybe the other person is seeing themselves as maybe not able to provide you with what you want or what you need. Wow, you have yet another two, and keep in mind the twos are not really actions, these are intentions. This is something deeply kind of experienced. So where do we go is the question behind these two. Like, what kind of goals can be set for us, and what kind of world, because this is not a globe, it's kind of the world that can be built. Are we going to base it on the old? You see, one of the ones is being attached, another one it isn't, or we are going to move into something else. It's like usually talking about there is some kind of partial success, but there is still indecision between few things. So your partner, how does your partner feel about herself or himself? Well, Seven of Cups reversed is talking about, well, for one thing, it can mean the option has been, the solution has been reached. But for the another thing can mean, okay, maybe you are the one, but because they feel that they have no option. It can also mean that somebody really doesn't know what they want, and very much like this partner, it seems to be very much up in the air energy, sort of like, what do I want, on kind of like so many different levels. So what is karma talking about this relationship? Now, there is like certain defensiveness, there is like kind of somebody stubborn, there is like seven, which is like not secure number. It's certainly talking about also imbalance, and it's kind of like protection, self-protection, holding over your heart. Again, something you're not jumping in, somebody's not jumping with 2 feet in this passion. It's sort of accepting and expecting that you may be attacked, not really knowing what will you encounter in the future. But at the same time, it is the card of independence and kind of thinking with your own two head, which is kind of conflicting for relationships because you have to be interdependent. And whoa, you get a tower in your relationship quality the first week. Well, it looks like, and this is, guys, what happened. This is a really good example. Tower is certainly not the lovely card to get, and it talks about surprises, to say the least. It happens really fast when this card actually shows up, and it talks about paradigm shift, right? It's something suddenly, even though in your reverse state it's not as sudden, and it's maybe something that you've seen coming. It's sort of, it was within your visor, it was in your horizon, but you just really didn't want to look into that. And I think this is a result of all this indecision, all of this sitting on a fence and nobody moving on, and karma is saying, well, the status quo is not good for me. And usually when this happens, it talks about karmic relationships. And guys, by the way, I also do karmic readings, so you actually can find out why you meet partners that you meet, especially if you meet all the time the same partner in a different body. And Tower sometimes come and steps in and shake things up, and it's saying, look, you know, you have to build things on a proper ground. You have to figure out what you want. It is definitely talking about some unexpected events, but eventually they turn out to be opportunities for growth. So second week, well, you have the star reversed. There is a component either of not looking forward or not healing that kind of is present here. And that could be like over not truly going in the direction of the soulmate, the something, a feeling that something is missing. Like, look, you have the judgment reversed here in what needs to be helped. And this, I think, is going to happen after this tower thingy. This is kind of like that rule of threes, you know, everything pretty much bad goes in threes because this has to be repaired. Whether this is a third person that is kind of like affecting, or the outside influences, or things that are culminating from the past, and I think that's the case over here, you really have to figure this out because this is make it or break it time. How you're seeing the second week? Well, you're seen as somebody who wants to set goals, and somebody who actually does want to move forward. You see, this was kind of contemplation, and this is like, okay, so I really want to see what is the future bringing. You kind of like, it's, you see the ships coming or going, and it's kind of interesting because the person is still turned with his back. It's still kind of a possibility of person just like not going on a journey, but I would say at 70%, you know, this person still wants a journey. So like, I mean, you're seen as possible. There is some hesitation in there, but there is also willingness. And the communication, well, there is yet another 7. And again, as I said to you, this is unstable. This is kind of like revising if this is quote unquote good investment in this relationship. Okay, I did this and this, that. I did that to him. I did this to her. And what did I get back? Now you're getting this as a third 7, 1, 2, 3. And since you had the 2s and 7s, it looks like it's going to be a lot of checks and balances and wondering and talking if you should continue. If you continue, then how is that vision of continuing? So your partner seemingly is like feeling guarded, right? Like there is like this pentacle that is holding over his or her heart, just like this person here. So it looks like nobody really wants to be vulnerable here. Everybody is like somehow protecting themselves, which kind of is usually the sign of being hurt in the past. And maybe this is why the star card here, the healing card, came reversed, because this can also mean kind of like holding off financially, because but at the same time, this can also mean trust in a solid foundation, right? So when I see this card, I kind of like feel that somebody is struggling with how to open up and how to see happiness and how to build solid foundation, where they feel, oh my gosh, what if I don't get further than where I am, if this is all that I have? This is card that is calling for feeling secure in the existence and divine plan, right? And that somebody has to, and especially because the pentacles were here as well, maybe your partner is checking feasibility of this relationship. Karma. Whoa, 6 of Cups reversed. So somebody, karma is definitely kind of stepping in a little bit, or saying that, guys, you possibly are looking back in the back, when in the start, when you had really good times, because this talks about history between the partners. This talks about like really the memories of innocence, of memories that things kind of like went really well, and everybody was so protective and everybody was on their best. But you have to understand that, like, I mean, initially when we meet somebody, we always are like that, but this is not our permanent state of mind. So people grow. And karma is saying one or both of you are still stuck on this. And like, I mean, you still are reflecting back to times when you had like this honeymoon period and not realizing that you are two grown-ups who actually need to move on and grow your relationship and find out what you want, because this is kind of like you're losing yourself in nostalgia, in maybe old flames. Maybe there is a person who is holding back because there is somebody from the past basically still existing, and hence they cannot build a bond with you. It's certainly illusion, like, right? Kind of somebody needs to wake up and smell the roses. If you're rekindling in your own head these emotions of the past, it is really hard to look in the future. So that's why I think the partner is guarded over here. So you see, guarded is another word that we can describe this card, right? Look, this is a seasoned warrior. It's coming in the description of your relationship as kind of fiery description, which is good. Fire talks about passion still exists there. Fire talks about this warrior still wants to continue in spite of being kind of wounded, right? But it's definitely talking that this relationship is facing uncertainty, and it's another card of reevaluation. So it's saying you guys need to stop and wait and figure things out and take that next step. Questioning is also good. Look carefully to see if possibly there is a different path and different strategy to kind of like move forward. So the third week, you have the Death card right after the Star card reversed. So that is of course talking about the endings. And again, that would kind of like lead me to believe that there is somebody from the past who doesn't want to die in somebody's head, because I'm not seeing here the third person. I am really seeing lots of emotions over here and something that is hopeless. And maybe this is why the person is stuck, because you want to move forward but you can't, because you haven't cleared your past, you haven't cleared, and you keep rehashing the old things. And this is almost like senseless suffering that it shouldn't be happening. You have to clear it, and I know it's easier said than done, but it is what it is. So what needs to be glued in the week 3? Again, very similar thing. The world reversed is like, it's not the tomorrow is not happening. Somebody is just like stuck, and the record is skipping over here, and maybe you are arguing over the same things over and over, or just going, and it's like conversation that just like doesn't happen. It's one is saying one thing, another one is saying another thing, and simply the communication is not there. It's just like the words, and the world is asking for moving to the next level. So see, on some level, well, sure, let's try it, but it's needing the real strategy. The world here also needs the real kind of gusto to move and just jump in. So how are you seeing? You see, you're seeing that you might actually reach a closure, because 7 of Swords, yet another 7. So oh my gosh, you have all 7s, just like, which sign was it? Gemini. So it's going to be very unstable this month. It's going to kind of well, this card is really weird because it talks about independence. All 7s talk about independence. So you cannot have independence and relationship at the same time. You cannot have indecision and long-term relationship at the same time. So you cannot be guarded and be a soulmate at the same time. You shouldn't be starting a relationship if you're still kind of living in the past. Some people do live in the past even though the past is long gone. So this is time saying, you know, somebody's waking up, and I think that could be you, Leo, saying, look, you know what, I need to reach this closure. I need to figure out what is this all about. What is this kind of thing that this whole involvement is taking away from me? Is this taking away my sanity? Is this taking away my peace of mind? And just like this person here was trying to evaluate his investment, you're evaluating if also you have to put spiritual effort, if this is the best for your spiritual help and development. The communication, wow, there is some kind of heartache, and there is somebody who's feeling rejected, and this sometimes indicates the third party, and I definitely see a third person here, either very present or present in somebody's heart. And one partner is going to get their wish, and beware what you wish for. It's another 9. So what is karma saying here? Karma is saying, look, you know, guys, there is a time to check out and figure out what you want. This is definitely, give it a thought. There are lots of mental confusion happening here, and you know, it's kind of like really weird because one partner is presenting this happiness, but another partner is not moving on. It's a total disconnect. However, you know, at the same time, even though it's a disconnect, there is like this fortunate kind of thing happening here. And I mean, Leo is one of the fixed signs, and you're actually included in this card. You see it here, and so you are included over here as well. So very two similar cards with a circular kind of theme, well, which is saying this kind of like world can finally start to turn for somebody. So it's almost like reaching an ending, because it's still better than being in a limbo. And let's just take a peek at July over here to see what's happening here. Yeah, guys, I really don't think that this is evolving in something productive, because I see here a sadness. I see it's still the sadness over the past. It's still somebody turning their back to, just like this person, you know, and it's kind of hard to go forward where you don't really want to see the things that are working, that are just behind you. You just have to turn around and look. There is like not like, there is like in a category that needs to be built, kind of this whole romantic thing and apologies, and this card can also mean apology. They're just not there, and this is the nourishment of the heart. So now it's, interestingly enough, I'm seeing as you or one of the partners this kind of celebration, but this can also mean the third party and feeling almost like somebody's rubbing it in. Well, look, these people are celebrating while I am sad, right? Because look at this cups, kind of like entering this first partner. However, again, there is a conversation between the two of you about building it. See, that was this kind of like, where do I go from here? Is it worth it while? And then maybe this kind of attitude pushes somebody through the roof and feels really hurt and rejected, but then this person comes back to the table and says, okay, let's try to build it, but kind of build it in a really practical way, or maybe offering, you know, some kind of like consolation prize. So partner sees themselves as nourishing, as creative, as somebody who can not only be kind of benefactor to relationship, but somebody who is almost like superior. The Empress, of course, is the high basically level, but this can also mean that your partner is seeking this perfect woman, which Empress kind of have all the queens in one, and you didn't have any other queen kind of coming out. So it could be that somebody is trying to get this ideal, and hence this is why there is like this hesitancy, and it might as well be you as well, because or this person might feel that they cannot provide you with everything that you need, that, you know, that happiness that they would like to bring to you cannot happen. And maybe there is like this kind of like negotiation, okay, let's try to build it. So some offer will be extended but also rejected. So now you have a 4 reversed and 4. So this is not necessarily saying that you guys are not getting together, because this is one of those rare cards that actually still remains positive even if it is reversed. But there will be some kind of surprise in this. So it's maybe going to happen, but not in a way that you want it to happen. So this is anyway the peak preview of early in July. For the true July, you'll have to wait until July. But in the meantime, guys, if you want your reading, please contact me at www.cattarot.ca and let me know how is this resonating with you. And until then, take care. I love you.